Hello and welcome to our Work Attitude Program training video. My name is Barbara Otto. The purpose of this training recording is to provide a review of the Helm & Associates Work Attitude Questionnaire program. The Attitude Questionnaire is included as one of the 3 questionnaires that make up the Performance Profile Assessment, and it can also be used as a standalone employment test. This recording is based on our Performance Profile Assessment Training Workbook. A free copy of the training workbook by calling the number on your screen. The number will be repeated at the end of the program. In training, you will learn what the Work Attitude Questionnaire measures, what information is provided in the Work Attitude Questionnaire Results Report, how to use the information from that results report, and what the Work Pledge document is and how to use it. The Work Attitude Questionnaire measures a person's attitudes toward on-the-job behavior in 4 areas: employee theft, temper control in the workplace, abuse that could affect job performance, and respect for others in the workplace. The reason that it is important to measure these attitudes that it tells you about the work-related assumptions that a new employee brings to the job in areas that are not often discussed during interviews and that are, in any event, awkward or difficult to talk about during interviews. These areas, that is employee theft and temper control, drug use, and respect for others in the workplace, are important because they affect the safety and harmony of the workplace for all employees, and that affects the company's risk and liability. The Work Attitude Questionnaire gives you an objective way to explore the attitudes that new employees bring to the job in that is job relevant, confidential, and non-confrontational. The purpose of exploring these attitudes is so that you can address small concerns with new employees before they become big ones. You can use the information from the results report to educate new employees about your company's policies and standards. Let me show you how this works. The Attitude Questionnaire is confidential, administered online by our web server. All questions are asked in the same order and in the same way every time the questionnaire is administered. It's important to treat all applicants in the same way, and that is what the Work Attitude Questionnaire does. For each question, the test taker is given a range of 10 responses, so he or she can show how much or how little he or she agrees with the statement. Unique response choice construction avoids the dilemma that many similar questionnaires present of forcing the test taker to either agree or disagree with an attitude statement, when the person may not completely agree or disagree all the time. It takes most applicants about 10 to 15 minutes to complete the Work Attitude Questionnaire. Let's look now at the Work Attitude Questionnaire Results Report. The cover of the report, which is included in order to protect the confidentiality of the contents. There are sections of the Work Attitude Questionnaire Results Report. The first is overall results. This summary of this person's results, expressed as the person's low, slight, moderate, or high risk in each of the 4 areas measured by the Work Attitude Questionnaire. The results of the Work Attitude Questionnaire, or WAQ, do not prove or predict what a person will do with regard to these 4 areas. The results present an individual's underlying attitudes or self-reported past behavior, all other factors being equal, in the 4 results areas. Second section is the admissions of questionable behavior. In this section of the report, we present admissions of past behavior that the person has made on the Work Attitude Questionnaire that represent attitudes that could lead to unacceptable future behavior. If there are admissions, you are referred to the question number and more detail in Section 4. If the test taker made no admissions, this area is blank. The third section, work-related attitudes and opinions, repeats the overall results without a graph. Section 4, interview questions. In this section, we provide suggestions for how to follow up in future interviews with the person and ask about responses to specific questions that suggest potentially problematic attitudes. If no questions are reproduced in this area, it means that the person's responses to the questions on the work attitude questionnaire did not raise concern about his or her attitudes or past behavior. If a question or questions are reproduced in this area, the person's response to each question is included, along with an indication of how common or uncommon such a response is to the question. Sample report now so that I can explain the results in more detail. In Section 1, we see this person's results. His employee theft result is moderate risk, with attitude of concern. L, his temper control result is high risk, and this is also an attitude of concern. His substance abuse result is low risk. His respect for others result is slight risk. These are the attitudes of little or no concern area. Looking into the report, we see in Section 2 that the test taker has made 2 admissions regarding past behavior. Notice that you are given the question number as is his specific response. 4 will provide more detail. Section 3 repeats the overall results, but without the graph. 4 shows you how to incorporate questions about these results into a follow-up interview, and it reproduces questions that you may want to use as the basis of that follow-up interview. Let's look again at Section 2. This person responded to item 17 by that he admitted he has taken a total of $51 to $250 from previous employers. We simply report his response. We don't make a judgment about whether that amount is acceptable or unacceptable to you. Instead, what is more important is show you how common or uncommon that response is. So we go on to the next page of the report where we reproduce the entire text of the question the applicant saw it. We highlight his answer. You can see that over 3/4 of the people who have responded to this question in the past have answered with a 0 or nothing. The person whose report we're looking at now is in a much smaller group. Less than 1% of the thousands of test takers who have completed the work attitude questionnaire have chosen this answer. That's this answer an unusual response, and this is a good example of how the work attitude questionnaire will present you with information that you should probe further in a follow-up interview. You want to know why this person made an unusual response, and want to be reassured that the person's behavior in the future will be guided more by your company's policies and standards than by this attitude. The percentages underneath each question, as it is reported on the report, the person's responses into the overall context of all people who have answered these questions, which gives an idea of how common or uncommon it is to see a particular response. Now about how to use these results. Remember, the results of the work attitude questionnaire do not prove or predict what a person will do in the future. Results present the individual's attitudes and emissions of past behavior, all of factors being held equal in 4 areas. Where results that suggest concern follow up in subsequent interviews to explore the attitudes that this person brings to the job. Open-ended questions, that is, questions that cannot be answered with yes or no, and then listen carefully to the answers. Your purpose in following up is to satisfy yourself that this person will be able to behave in accordance with your company's rules and policies. The attitude questionnaire helps you modify, if necessary, training and orientation for new employees whose results suggest that their attitudes may not align well with your company's policies and standards. Your underlying attitudes are not the only factor that influence behavior. Know your company's policies and standards, as well as consequences for not following them, often influences behavior as much as underlying attitudes. There is one more thing that you can do to reinforce the importance to your company of appropriate on-the-job behavior. Provide at no charge a self-paced workbook for your employees that specifically addresses the attitude areas measured by the work attitude questionnaire. The book is called The Importance of Responsible Workplace Behavior, and it is available in English and Spanish. The importance of responsible workplace behavior shows the new employee how it is in his or her best interest to treat the company as fairly as he or she expects to be treated by the company. It addresses each of the 4 measured areas on the work attitude questionnaire from the employee's point of view. So, staying calm under pressure, act with integrity, maintaining a state of mental and physical alertness, and showing respect for coworkers. In area, we use concrete and simple job-related examples. We conclude the workbook with 4 complete these statement items to let the person express his or her understanding of the 4 areas in a way that reinforces the value of appropriate behavior. We end with a pledge for the person to sign, because what gets written down gets done. In addition, the person's signature serves as an acknowledgement of receipt of training on these issues. The most significant function of importance of responsible work behavior is that it creates a structured way of having the necessary conversation with employees about appropriate on-the-job behavior in a positive context. Give an employee a copy of his or her completed and signed workbook to keep. The Importance of Responsible Workplace Behavior document can be incorporated into your company's orientation procedures, or it can be used as a self-administered workbook. If you have questions about any of the material in this training video, please call us at the number on your screen, 800-886-4356. Videos are available from us. To view them, simply contact us at the number on your screen. You can find more detailed information about the Performance Profile Assessment in the reference manual. There's an active link, and you can also get a digital copy by contacting us. Remember, you can always contact us with questions. Our contact information is on the screen. Thanks for your time today.